If you would like to go from this to this and have a running bike, stay tuned and we'll go through everything necessary. This video is Shop Dog approved. Alright, to start off we have our M-Unit Blue from Moto Gadget that you see here already mounted to the motorcycle. We have our ignition control module. You'll need a regulator rectifier. You're going to need a starting switch of some sort, a ignition switch, and your starter, of course, and starter solenoid. These are the bare bones components you need to get a bike started. All right. This is an 80s Yamaha Virago xv750. Front end and all the controls are off of a 0708 R1. And let's go through the basic components to get the bike started. So the components that you need are your coils, your ignition control module, regulator rectifier, and your starter solenoid. Basically, so let's start out with the regulator. The regulator has power and ground that you need to connect. Ground straight to ground, obviously, and I have the power run to the ignition switch. If you have your original regulator rectifier, you'll hook this brown wire up to a 12-volt source so it can reference whether it needs to charge or not. If you have an upgraded one, it's looped, so you don't even need to connect these. It uses the main power as reference. Your ignition control module, this big plug here, has red and white, which is power to your coils and power to your ignition control module. That's going to be hooked up to your ignition pinout for the Moto Gadget. The gray wire and the orange wire are the signals for your coil packs. The additional orange wire is your tach signal, which we don't need that right now for it to run. Your ignition control module does not reference this for timing. Let's see, starter solenoid, ground one side, and then the colored wire would go to your start output from the Moto Gadget, and that'll turn on the solenoid to run the starter. Every pin on this small side is ground reference, ground signals to switch on and off, except for your lock switch, which is the very bottom one. That uses a 12-volt signal to power on and off the M-Unit Blue. And I also have that run straight to the ignition switch. So I have 12 volts. There's 4 wires for the R1 ignition switch, 2 big ones, 2 small ones. And basically when the switch is off, they're cut. When the switch is on, they're together. So the two big ones are together, 2 little ones are together. So I have 12 volts coming in, 1 of each. When the switch is on, 12 volts comes out of each. So 12 volts out on the big one to power the voltage regulator, 12 volts out on the small one for the lock pin to turn on the Moto Gadget. So when the key is turned on, you'll see the light sequence and the Moto Gadget is ready to power the bike. And that is basically all you need to start most Japanese bikes. One thing I forgot to mention is all the controls on the bike have a wire in, wire out for each individual accessory that you want to run. So on the harness, using a multimeter, check continuity between 2 wires to figure out which 2 work in conjunction with the switch. For example, the actual starter switch, I have one wire grounded straight to the ground, and the other one, when the switch is on, will send ground to the M-Unit to switch on and off whatever accessory that is. So this blue wire is ground in when you hit the starter switch to send power out to your starter solenoid. That same concept works for your ignition kill switch, turn signals, horn, high beams, low beams. There's always a wire in, wire out. You're going to ground one side, and then that ground reference, when the switch is on, will turn on or off whichever accessory that you're dealing with. And then the other side will send the power out to power whatever accessory that you've switched on or off. And on that accessory, if it's a light or a horn, that power will come out of here, go to the accessory, and then the other side of that accessory you'll just ground straight to the chassis or whatever. You don't have to bring the wires back to the M unit or anything. Kind of makes everything clean and simple and really straightforward. And here's the bike running with basically 3 wires hooked up. Thank you for watching. Hope this helps someone. Trying to figure this out on my own proved a little challenging because there's not really a clear-cut guide on what to do, especially if you're not super familiar with electrical systems and how to wire these silly things up. So please leave a comment, tell me what you thought about the video, or if you have any questions about this bike or any of the wiring, let me know and I'll do what I can to help. Again, thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you like it. Give me some ideas or other videos if you'd like to see anything else on this bike or any other projects I'm doing. Let me know and have a great day. Thank you.